Hi guys, happy Friday. Um I've just kind of been busy the last few days, so I haven't tried to put too much pressure on myself to get on and do a video. I've been struggling with some headaches and just blah doing work. So, hey, it's Friday. I'm here. Let's do a video. First thing I want to say is I went to the cardiologist today. Everything is normal with all of the loop recorders, so that's good. No worries or concerns. They taught me how it works better, what I need to know. Cleared me for my flights and all my trip to on vacation at the end of the month. And they said I could before, but I was a little worried now that I actually had it. They'd be like, "No, you can't go." But nope, that's not what happened. They're gonna let me go ahead and go. Because if they weren't, I probably would have went anyways. To be honest, because I'm gonna live my life. That's what I'm gonna do. Um, Today was a good day. I got to see a client that I've been seeing for a while, got to move her to every other week, which is a good stepping stone for discharge. And that's what you want. As a mental health professional would tell you, you don't want to have to carry these people forever. You want to teach them the tools, you want to be there for support, and you want to, get them to where they can function on their own without needing to see you every week for 1 hour at a time. Um, Got a newbie, a new little client. That will be fun and exciting. So yeah, life's just moving on and doing great things. Was supposed to go see my friend from work, and I won't because I just don't want to get anything. Like nah, I don't want to take anything over there. She's got precious little newborns, and they're fragile and frail, so I won't. Got some big plans to do out at the house this weekend, so gonna go do that. Um, it's just been a pretty good week. Each day that goes by is a day getting closer to A, moving, and B, going on vacation. And mostly important, I need William to come home, which means he's closer to coming home to help me do all of those things. So that's good. Um, I kind of touched on something in one of my last videos about, the stigma with mental health and how that creates problems, and it makes it hard for people to be like, hey, I need to come see you, or hey, I have a problem. And stigma against mental health happens because society thinks as mental health is a bad thing, and then because of that society effect, we get the negative self effect to where we begin to think that it's a bad thing, or we're crazy, or it's not, it's more than what it is. And I was talking to a client the other day, and we talked about how she has always felt these feelings but never been to a place in her life where she felt that it was okay to reach out for help. And we talked about how COVID kind of helped with that because, in the heightened part of COVID, it was check your neighbors, check your friends, check your families, see where they're doing, see how they're doing. Because we were all locked down. And she said that that's really when she started questioning that she could really talk to somebody and maybe get some relief, and, quit suppressing some of these feelings that she was been suppressing. And I think she's right. I mean, we've had a lot of progress since then with mental health and the stigma that surrounds it. But there's still a long ways to go. I know that it's hard to say, hey, I'm feeling down. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. I know that that's all hard to just openly discuss with people for some people. Um, So I did some research, okay, and this is a long time ago. But like, I want to say the article was back in 2015, 2020, no, 2019, and then there's some more recent. But even back in 2015, we had like 1 in 4 people that were affected with a mental health issue or a crisis. And that's a lot, that's a big number. And that's only increased as people did go into the lockdown mode and We're starting to see some of that um, same that fear and worry, anxiety, and things like that come back. The more numbers increase, and you know, it seems that we see a decrease when life's good, and we're not talking about COVID all the time. But once we put it in the social media, the light of the news and everything like that, it seems to increase that feeling that we have. And so, I mean, I just really wanted to talk about that. Like, you guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, dang it, you're not alone. If you're feeling sad all the time, or, you're worried constantly, or have some fear that stuff's happening, there's those. Those are very simple, everyday. Let's talk about it. And then we have, like people that have schizophrenia. I think I talked about the other day. It's sad to me that, when you hear schizophrenic, you automatically think that they're violent, crazy people. Because in reality, they normally will be the first to back down because their own thought process is keeping them in constant, worry or fear. So they're normally not as big as of a concern as most would think. Now, I'm not saying all of them. Um, we have a few that walk around, people, homeless people, that walk around downtown quite a bit. And I'm telling you, if there is an additional drug that's used, meth, cocaine, any of that, or if there's alcohol involved, yes, you see more aggression and behavioral issues with that. But as far as somebody that's, not doing extracurriculars, then that need for adamant worry for somebody that's schizophrenic isn't as great. Okay. So they talk to themselves. Okay, let them. Not your issue. They're not going to hurt you. Um, and I say that because, when I first started working in the field, I was very protected with where I worked, and it was very secured. And because I worked in a detention center and I've worked in group homes, like I always have somebody having my back, right? So when I went back to work and I went to this office, and I'm sitting there one day and I'm later, because I don't mind scheduling later appointments, because why miss work if you don't have to, or whatever. And so I hear somebody yelling like outside of the door, and I'm like, you know, and I mean, goes on for a good 30 minutes. I'm just like, hmm. And I called the girl that worked up there, the front desk lady. She's like, "Oh, he's fine. He's gonna sit out there and make noise and yell and scream and hoot and holler. And when they open the doors to the shelter, he'll go in." And sure enough, there he goes. He didn't want anything to do with me. I put my nose in his business, because of what he was doing. And again, if we would, glance, make sure they're not doing anything bad. But if they're not, just let them be. Bipolar, you have your manic, and you have your, well, they call them your ups and your downs. And believe it or not, I mean, if you're ever around somebody long enough, you will learn their cycles. And if they're medicated, you really don't have much to worry about. Now, if they are not med compliant and they're not doing what they need to do, there's probably some worry or room for worry, and you probably need to step a little lighter around them, because it's considered a manic episode. Like they're not well, but still, like, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It doesn't mean that they aren't human. It doesn't mean that they don't deserve a chance in life. And yes, there have been years and years and years and years and years of history that say if you have labeled mental health issues, aka bipolar, schizophrenic, paranoid disorder, whatever it may be, it does create a harder time for you to be part of the society and accepted, because of the stigma with that, the stereotyping, the whole piece behind that. But if people would become aware and research and try to understand, what we would see is that it would probably be a better place overall. and then we could help each other instead of, trying to hurt each other. And again, I told you, I was the worst. This guy was sitting out there screaming. I'm like, oh my God, something's going to happen. Da, 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 da. This isn't good. I was worried, but when I talked to my buddy about it, she's like, it's no big deal. And my problem is that, like I said, I had been sheltered because where I had worked, I had always had like a security backup. I had staff that would step in and help, or I had, I want to say prison guards, but they're not really prison guards. Whatever they are at the detention center, they would be there in a minute if I needed them. They always had eyes on me. They always made I was sure I was safe. There was always that, and so I get it. Now I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. Okay, let's talk about the 1 and 4. Just that number 1 and 4. Now, not okay. So when you come in and you see a therapist, and we take all your information and we talk, and we have you identify what's going on or what you're feeling, that is not anything to be embarrassed by, because that is you giving us the tools to know how we can better help you. And believe it or not all diagnoses stick with you forever. There's some that will. But even like post-traumatic stress disorder, the great thing with that is that you guys come in or work with somebody, you get the assistance you need, you get the support you need, and you move on. We want to graduate you. We want to give you the tools. We want to, help you be the best you that you can be. And it's hard when it's like, okay, for example, I used to get court ordered people in, okay? Those guys are very, very hard. And they were just in, say, an anger management setting. And they still was in denial that they had any anger issues. But then once you talk to them and you're like, hey, it's okay. We all have those anger issues. It's just that we all deal with them differently. And how we deal with them is what, is the issue. It's our behaviors that's the issue. It's not that you have anger. It's what you do with that anger. So once you start speaking with them and you're working with them and you're giving these tools and having them work through this with you and talk to you, it seems to become easier. At the end of the 12 weeks, boom, they're not looking down on themselves anymore. They're not feeling embarrassed or ashamed, because guess what? Now they shouldn't have to come back. And we have some people that have to come back. Like we have some clients, that are battling with depression, but they get through it. And then, maybe 6 months down the line, something happens and it triggers that depression. So we have to come back in for a little bit. That's okay. That's what we are here for. And I think my mind has been opened to this, and I want to talk about it because I know I'm asking a lot of some people to say, work on you, work on your feelings, work on getting past everything, But when I say that, know that I say that in good reason. It's because I want that stigma to go away. I don't want you to be ashamed of yourself anymore. I don't want you to think that the public eye is going to matter. I don't think that the news, it's kind of like this. Now, okay, put this out there. Anytime that there's a shooting, they were drunk, they were this, they were that, there's always a label on it, right? Always. Why not say that they did a shooting because they were mad? I hate to be that way, but I mean, really, we just don't walk around shooting people, right? No. And not everybody that shoots somebody is completely crazy or schizophrenic or bipolar or this or that. Maybe they were just having a bad day and didn't have anybody to talk to. Ever think of that? Let's say, you started a new job, that, you've been at a job for 14 years, and then you start a new job and you start feeling sad and lonely and unworthy or unwanted or any of that. It doesn't mean that you are forever sad. you have a little bit of an adjustment issue, and we just need to tweak on a few things, and we need to work on those things, and we need to be able to fundamentally come through. And that's why I encourage you to, if there's any kind of support that I can be for you, even if it's a sounding board, even if it's, getting you information you need, whatever it may be, I'm here. I couldn't ask you guys just to go see a therapist if you think you're sad and not say that I know that it's hard. I gave an example of myself, like little did I ever know that I would ever need to see a therapist. My only marriage, I did this whole marriage counseling and it failed tremendously, or it just did not work. So when the marriage counseling ended, I never went back to work on me and my feelings, my outtake on that whole divorce process. It crumbled me hard. And then I took time off after my divorce to before I even got in a relationship because I knew that there was issues that I needed to work on. Okay. So when William and I got together and, some things happened, I reached out and I got me some help. And it was hard to admit that I needed the assistance. I needed somebody to talk to. I needed somebody with a voice that could help me. I needed that, and it was very confusing to me. Like, again, why would I need a therapist? Well, because I'm freaking human. And being part of being human means that every day is a challenge, a new challenge. Every day can be bad. Every day can be good. Every day there might be a need because we're human. Okay. We mess up. We do good. We do bad. We just whatever. And so when I tell you that things of like that is what helped me stay positive and motivated, that's why. Because when I reached out and I said, look, I can't do this on my own and I just need somebody to talk to, they were there and they didn't judge me and they didn't define me as a depressed person. They didn't, she did diagnose me with depression. But it was nothing like nobody knows that I was ever depressed because nobody ever has to know that record. It's sealed. And as long as you were there and you were working on you and you were doing what you need to do, there's no reason for that to get out. Nobody knows you're going, right? Nobody knows what you're working on. So never be ashamed of that. And I say that apprehensively because I know that those are, again, never be afraid of that is very hard. But I have been in those shoes. I have sat in that seat. I have had those feelings. I have been sad. Even right now, I've told you guys in stories before, 2020 sucked. 2020 was so hard. And to date of prior to stroke, that was the hardest time in my life because here I am, a chatty person, a happy person. If my feet hit the ground, be blessed, but yet I was no longer providing for my family and William was working harder and all I could do was set up my house, and I had this doctor's note that said if she caught COVID, she could die, which was traumatizing in itself, so a very hard time. And then you take in the social aspect of that, where you have people that like, COVID's not real. Don't fall into the trap. And then you're seeing so many deaths and so much heartache and so much pain. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with people? Like, whether you believe COVID is real, something is happening and it's not okay. We're locked in our homes and people are dying. It's not okay. And I wasn't okay. And so I called my doctor. Actually, we had a telehealth visit and he's like, how are you doing? And I just busted in tears. Like every part of me felt like it had just crushed and died. And I didn't want to tell William because you know what? Who am I to complain to a man that's going out and putting himself on the line, every day, getting into a truck, going to make deliveries in areas that are like hot spots. Like he would have to, when he would go into certain states, he would have to register with the state for COVID purposes. Like, why would I want to share and express those feelings to him and make that fear be his? I kick myself in the foot now, the ass now, because I could have told him anyways, and we could have talked about that. But that's what I've learned after the fact, right? So don't let yourself go through that alone feeling when there's people out there, you know. But let me tell you, 2022, 2022 has just been phenomenal. At times where I get so discouraged, you know, maybe I forget something, I get stumbled across my words, or I don't say something right. You know, I look at myself and I'm like, you know what, I had a freaking stroke. And to date, it's been 2.5 months since I've had my stroke. To date, I have done nothing but continue to try. I have a lot of fear in me right now because, you know, I have some big challenges coming up, such as being able to, you know, can I paint a house? I don't know. I used to be able to. Why? I don't know. But I've never let it stop me. I got COVID. That note that said that I could die if I ever caught COVID, I made that note a fucking lie because I lived. And I want to get in my little place and I want to get that and I want to shred it up so bad because that note defined me. I could die. I lived through it. I lived through it. I am the happiest today than I probably have been in months. I say months. I got a ring on my finger from a guy that, you know, we have been through so much together, so much together. And I'm able to live on the same land as my mom and assure that she will be okay till that can't happen anymore, you know? I have brothers that are just freaking amazing. I have family or friends that are just always on my side. Like, I just love life. I have a YouTube community that has been such a support for not only me, because when you guys watch this, it touches me. But for, you know, William, you know, like, who knows what that guy's feeling because he's not going to tell me anything negative. He's like, it was hard, you know. He's not going to be like, well, you caused a lot of stress. But I have a YouTube communities that have just been a blessing to me and I appreciate it. And I can tell you that depression was COVID, you know, 2020 when that all started. I'm not depressed now. I have every reason to have been depressed. I'm not. You know why? Because I've learned. I leaned on my mom. I leaned on my daughter. I leaned on William. I talked to everybody. My best friend would send me texts and check on me regularly, even when I wouldn't remember to send her a thank you because my mind wouldn't allow that. And I can truly tell you that if we can just work through things together, if we can stop stereotyping people, you know, just because I'm sleeping all day doesn't mean I'm depressed, right? It might mean that I had a freaking stroke, and that's part of a symptom, or not a symptom, a side effect. If we can say that, you know, you change jobs and things have been hard, or you moved and things have been hard, or, you know, you're going through a divorce, there's adjustment disorders, you know, those are very real and they're not anything that should be worried about, but they're things that we can work through. Bipolar, guess what? We can work through that. There's a reason I worry about the stigmatism of mental health because I still hear it. I listen to people and I'm like, they're really saying that they make it, you know, they make it less than what it is. Like, why would I want to go talk to a therapist? What's bad about me? What's bad about me? I put my time to listen and learn and help and, you know, ensure people that they can do it. You know, there's nothing bad about me. But it's sad for them that they feel that that's not okay. So, before you say anything about people with mental health problems, anything, 1 in 4, 1 in 4. So at the restaurant that you went to the other night to eat with your family, if there's 6 in your family, one of you, maybe 2 of you are already experiencing something. Okay? If you're at work with 500 people, I don't even want to do the math on that. But my point to this is you're not alone. And I wasn't alone. And it's okay. So if you do anything, if you take anything from this video, it's to know that mental health is not bad. Disorders are not bad. Nothing is bad unless you make it bad. Okay? So, again, I put myself out there. If anybody needs to talk to me, send me a message. Again, thank you guys for your support and for watching. And I don't know if I'll do a video this weekend because it's going to be kind of crazy busy. Not really crazy busy. Let me stop lying. I got to go do some work, which I'm not used to some physical work, okay? And it could be taxing on me, but it's okay. I'm going to get through it. But just think about what you say before you say things. And when you hear things on TV, see, I just lost my train of thought because this came to me. When you hear things on TV about they had schizophrenia, bipolar, they had this mental health issue, this, and this, don't listen to what they're saying because you don't know the person. So, I don't know. But I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to get this posted and I'm going to do some work and I'm going to eat some dinner and I'm going to talk to William and I'm going to do some work on the house this weekend and I'll be back at some point. And until then, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will be back to talk to you guys later. Bye.